You know that feeling, right? That sudden, unexpected question pops up in a meeting. Or maybe it's a curveball in an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Your mind just goes totally blank, your heart starts pounding, and the words, they just poof, vanish. That freezing feeling, we've all been there.
It's such a universal moment, isn't it? That feeling of panic. Like your brain's just, I don't know, short-circuiting. And those unscripted moments, they can feel incredibly high
They
stakes.
really can, because often that's where we feel we're being judged the most, kind of acutely.
Exactly.
But what if, right? What if you could actually train yourself to think clearly under that kind of pressure, to speak with genuine confidence and, get your thoughts across brilliantly, even when you're completely caught off guard?
Hmm.
Well, that's what we're diving into today. This deep dive is all about mastering spontaneous communication, those words you didn't plan. And, well, it turns out they're often the most powerful ones, the most memorable.
And our guide for this journey, our foundational source, it's a real game changer. Matt Abraham's book, Think Faster, Talk Smarter.
Oh, yeah, fantastic book.
It really is, just packed with actionable insights.
So our mission today, it's basically to unlock the practical tools, the powerful mindsets, and crucially, some simple frameworks that can help you speak without fear, without all those filler words, and without freezing up.
Right, whether it's that surprise question or maybe a last-minute presentation you get asked to do, or even just an everyday impromptu chat.
Exactly. We want to equip you to manage that speaking anxiety, structure your thoughts like that instantly sound confident, and genuinely improve your impromptu communication skills, whatever situation you find yourself in.
Yeah, it's really about empowering you to shine when that spotlight hits unexpectedly, turning that pressure into your platform.
Okay, so let's start with a really core idea from Matt Abrahams, the power of spontaneous speaking, and maybe more importantly, why it's a skill, not just some kind of innate talent.
That's huge.
Think about your daily life, right? Most of the really crucial communication moments, making first impressions, building relationships, influencing decisions, they're almost entirely unplanned.
Totally. It's those unexpected questions, the off-the-cuff responses, those little impromptu back and forths.
And what's so transformative is how Abrahams just dismantles this thing he calls the spontaneity myth.
Ah, yes, that myth.
Yeah, this common belief that great speakers are just, naturally gifted,
Yeah.
born charismatic. He really challenges that.
Yeah, he does. And the aha moment is realizing that charisma isn't some kind of magic. It's actually a collection of trainable behaviors. You don't need a specific personality type. You just need the right tools.
Right. It demystifies something that often feels completely out of reach, doesn't it?
It really does.
So it's not about being the loudest person or memorizing clever lines. It's about understanding how your brain actually works under pressure and then learning how to organize your thoughts fast.
Yeah.
Matt himself apparently had this freezing moment early on, which is what fueled his own deep dive into it all.
Yeah, and his core message is just so liberating. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be prepared. And not prepared with memorized lines, but prepared with techniques and a mindset that helps you speak from purpose, not from panic.
And he makes this powerful point, doesn't he? We are judged more in moments of spontaneity than in moments of preparation.
Yeah, that hits home.
It's profound, right? People
Uh-huh.
aren't just listening to your words. They're watching how you think under pressure. They're looking for confidence, clarity, presence.
Think about a job interview, right? Tell me about a time you failed.
Exactly. Or you're in a virtual meeting and suddenly your boss goes, "Hey, what's your take on this new policy?" There's no script. You just have to respond.
And that's where the brain science comes in, the prefrontal cortex. When anxiety kicks in, it's like mission control for your logic and decision making just, well, loses power.
Right. It gets hijacked, as he calls it, hijacked by the brain's alarm system.
And that leaves you with that frustrating blank mind or just stumbling over words. But the good news is we can actually train our brain to keep mission control online even when things get stormy.
So we can stay calm, focused, and structured.
Exactly.
So what does this mean for you listening? That anxiety you feel, it isn't some kind of weakness. It's actually a signal. It means you care, that the moment matters.
Yeah, it's energy.
And when you learn to work with that energy, instead of fighting it, everything changes. And this isn't just for CEOs giving keynotes, by the way.
Oh, definitely not.
Spontaneous speaking is for everyone. Students, team leaders, parents, friends. It's about those real, sometimes messy, human exchanges that happen every single day.
And being able to think faster and talk smarter makes such a difference in those exchanges. So, as we go through this, just keep this in mind. You already have the potential. What you need is the process to unlock it.
All right, let's dive into that process then. Starting with anxiety. How do we reframe it? Turn it into confidence. We all know the physical signs, right? Heart pounding, maybe your mouth gets dry, your mind starts spinning.
Yeah, it feels like your body's just sounding this massive alarm.
Exactly. And this is where Matt Abrahams offers such a powerful idea. Anxiety isn't the enemy, it's energy.
Mm-hmm. Energy you can interpret differently.
Right. You can learn to see it not as fear, but as fuel. Think about it. Physiologically, anxiety and excitement are incredibly similar.
Increased heart rate, adrenaline, focused attention.
The only real difference is how we label that feeling inside, how we interpret it.
So that mindset shift is just critical. Instead of telling yourself, oh no, I'm so nervous, try saying, okay, I'm ready for this.
Or instead of, what if I mess up?
Mhm.
Maybe reframe it as, okay, this is my chance to share something important.
Right. And that subtle shift, it actually activates your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, helping with reasoning and memory. Abraham suggests a simple mantra even, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. It's about changing that internal story.
And to get some control over the physical stuff, breathing is huge. Matt recommends the 4-4-6 technique.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, you inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold that breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds.
Okay, 4-4-6.
Just doing that for a minute or two can really calm your nervous system down. He also says to shift your attention off yourself and onto your audience.
Ah, that's key.
Ask yourself, what do they need right now? How can I help them? What value can I bring? It takes the spotlight off your own fear and puts it on the message, on the connection.
And here's something that feels counterintuitive, but Matt really emphasizes it. Don't rush.
Right. Our instinct is often to just speed through it, get it over with.
Exactly. But he says, presence is power. When you allow yourself to actually be present, to pause, to breathe, to really focus, you give your brain the space it needs to think.
And importantly, you give the listener space too.
Yeah.
Space to absorb, to process, to connect. That little pause. It signals confidence, not confusion.
Yeah, thoughtfulness, not scrambling. And speaking of internal messages, we got to talk about the inner critic.
Oh, that voice.
Right. Under pressure, it can be absolutely brutal. You're not ready, you'll mess up, they're all judging you.
Yeah.
Matt teaches us to consciously replace that critic with an inner coach, a voice that actually empowers you, tells you you've handled harder things, or just connect, just be real.
He even suggests writing down your common doubts and then right next to them, writing a powerful, encouraging counter message, like literally rewriting the script.
That's such a practical way to start rewiring those default negative thoughts. And it reminds us spontaneous speaking isn't about being polished and perfect.
No, it's about authentic communication. People remember sincerity, they remember connection, way more than they remember every single word.
Matt quotes something like, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your preparation. And that preparation, it's your mindset, your breathing, your self-talk, and yeah, the frameworks we're about to get into.
So ultimately, reframing anxiety isn't just some mind trick. It genuinely transforms that nervous energy into passion, fear into focus, tension into intention.
Your energy is a gift, and
Ah.
your message, it's always more important than your fear.
Okay, so once you've started to, let's say, tame that inner anxiety beast, what's the next big hurdle? Often, when you put on the spot, it's not just fear holding you back, it's a lack of structure.
Yeah, total chaos in your head.
Your thoughts feel like this tangled mess, words stumble out, the message gets lost. It's like having all the ingredients, but absolutely no recipe.
Exactly. And that's where Abrahams gives us these crucial recipes, these simple speaking frameworks. They aren't rigid scripts, that's important.
Right, more like mental roadmaps.
Perfect way to put it. Roadmaps that guide your thinking, focus your message, and help you sound clear and confident, even when you're, thinking on your feet. They bring order when your brain is screaming for it.
Okay, let's break down some of these frameworks. First one, what? So what, now what? Super versatile, apparently.
Yeah, incredibly versatile. It's perfect for answering a direct question, giving a quick update, or even summarizing something complex.
So what is the core idea or fact? So what is why it matters, the impact, and now what is the next steps or conclusion?
Precisely. Let's say someone asks about a project delay. You could say, we've seen a 20% delay in the software integration phase. What? This means our product launch timeline is now at risk, impacting revenue projections. So what? Therefore, we need to reallocate engineering resources immediately and run daily stand-ups to get back on track. Now what?
Nice. Clear, concise, actionable. Okay, next framework. Problem, solution, benefit. Sounds like a good one for pitching ideas.
Definitely. Or responding to challenges, proposing something new. You identify the problem, present your solution, and then really sell the benefit, the value for whoever you're talking to.
Got an example.
Sure. Imagine proposing a new tool. Our current data analysis process is manual and prone to errors, which costs us time and accuracy. Problem. We should invest in this new AI-powered analytics platform solution. This won't just cut error rates dramatically, but it'll also free up our team for more strategic thinking, ultimately driving innovation benefit.
Makes sense. And then there's the classic three-point list.
Ah, the rule of three. It's brilliant because audiences just naturally remember things better in threes.
It gives you instant structure when your brain feels scrambled. So just think, okay, 3-point.
Exactly. It filters the noise.
Sure.
Our campaign succeeded due to three key things: clear messaging, great cross-team collaboration, and data-driven decisions. Simple, memorable, organized.
And the last one we'll cover is past, present, future. Sounds like it's good for updates or telling a story over time.
Perfect for that. Project updates, progress reports, even answering questions about your experience. You cover the past, where things started, the present, where you are now, and the future, what's next, or the plan.
So maybe like 5 years ago, I was a junior engineer focused on code past. Today, I lead a team handling project management and mentoring. Present. Moving forward, I want to build strategic partnerships to expand our impact future.
Exactly. It gives context and direction.
So how do you pick the right one in the heat of the moment? Does it become intuitive?
It really does. With a bit of practice, if it's a direct question, what, so what, now what, often works well. Pitching something. Problem, solution, benefit, progress update, past, present, future. Need instant clarity. Go for the 3-point list. They become like mental shortcuts.
And Matt emphasizes something important here. Silence is okay.
Yes. It's okay to pause for a second, take a breath, quickly think which framework fits, and then start talking. That pause isn't weakness.
It signals thoughtfulness.
Exactly. It gives your brain that crucial beat to organize. And ultimately, the best spontaneous speakers, they're not always the fastest thinkers. They're the best organizers of thought. Structure gives you freedom.
Okay, so structure is key. But let's talk about something maybe less obvious, but just as powerful. Listening. Abrahams calls it a hidden superpower for speaking smarter.
We often think communication is all about output, right? What we say. But he argues the secret sauce is actually in the input, how well we listen.
Most people, he says, listen just to reply. We're formulating our response while the other person is still talking.
Guilty as charged sometimes. And it means we miss context, we sound disconnected. Great communicators, they listen first, fully, actively. They absorb the words, sure, but also the emotions, the tone, the subtext.
And that makes the response smarter, more relevant, more human.
Exactly. He talks about 3 levels of listening. Level 1 is internal listening. That's when you're mostly focused on yourself. What should I say next? How do I sound?
We all start there sometimes.
For sure. Level 2 is focused listening. Now your attention is really on the speaker, picking up keywords, noticing their emotions, their body language. That's where real understanding starts.
Now level 3.
That's 360s. Listening. Deep listening. You're aware of the person, the environment, the underlying emotions, even what's not being said. Your responses from this level, they become incredibly insightful.
So how do you build this listening muscle?
Well, one simple thing is just pausing for a couple of seconds after someone finishes speaking. It shows respect, and it gives your brain time to actually process what they said, not just react.
Okay, the power of the pause again.
And then try to mirror and validate. Reflect back what you heard. Okay, so it sounds like you're feeling frustrated with that delay, or if I'm hearing you right, you're saying the team needs more clarity.
That makes the other person feel heard, right?
Yeah.
And probably helps you organize your thoughts, too.
Absolutely. And another big one, be curious, not controlling. Ask open-ended questions. What do you think caused that? Can you tell me more about? The more information you gather through genuine curiosity, the smarter your response will be.
It's kind of a paradox, isn't it? Better listening actually leads to faster, more effective thinking.
It does. Because you're not scrambling to guess what matters. You've gathered the data, you've seen the patterns, so you can respond with precision.
So the best communicators aren't the loudest.
Nope. They're the most tuned in. And when people feel heard, trust builds, they open up, they engage, it's foundational.
Okay, let's shift to those really high-pressure moments. The hot seat, as you called it earlier. Big presentation, crucial job interview, maybe a difficult conversation, or just that sudden, unexpected question that makes your blood run cold.
Yeah, the brain scramble moment where time seems to warp.
Totally. And it's normal, right? Stress triggers that fight or flight, shuts down logic.
Yep.
But the key isn't to avoid pressure, it's to train our response.
And Matt gives us the 3 R's for this: recognize, reframe, and respond with purpose.
Okay, break those down.
First, recognize the signs. That racing heart, blank mind, tense shoulders. Just notice them, acknowledge them. Naming the fear can actually reduce its power.
Okay, recognize it. Then,
Reframe, shift your perspective. That I'm nervous becomes I'm excited or I care about doing well. See it as an opportunity, not just a threat. Your thoughts really do shape your reality here.
and third.
Respond with purpose. Take action. Breathe. That 4-7-8 breath is great here. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. It really calms the nervous system. Then focus. Use your techniques like those frameworks or active listening to stay present and act intentionally.
That 4-7-8 breath sounds like a secret weapon for calm. What about when you genuinely draw a blank, though? Like you're trying to reframe, but nothing's coming out.
That's where bridging phrases come in handy. Abraham suggests having a few ready. Things like, that's an important question, let me take just a second to gather my thoughts. Or, great point, here's how I'm currently thinking about that.
Ah, so they buy you time but make you look composed.
Exactly. You're not just standing there silently. You're acknowledging the question and signaling you're processing it thoughtfully.
He also talks about owning the first 30 seconds, right?
Yes. That beginning is critical in high-pressure situations. Have a go-to start ready. Maybe it's a clear statement of your main point or a powerful question or just outlining how you'll answer. Starting strong builds momentum and helps that anxiety drop away faster.
And the good news is, performing under pressure, it's trainable.
Totally trainable. Matt really encourages simulated practice. Record yourself answering tough questions. Practice in front of friends. Do those hot seat drills with zero prep time. Confidence is a muscle, and it grows when you challenge it.
Right, you don't build it by staying comfortable.
And remember, the audience doesn't need perfection. They need presence. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Acknowledge it if you need to. Stay grounded and keep going. That authenticity actually builds trust.
Yeah, authenticity advantage. I like that.
And he suggests a little 5-minute reset ritual before any high-pressure moment. Deep breathing, maybe a quick walk or stretch. Visualize success, repeat an empowering phrase, I am ready, I've got this, and genuinely smile. It helps rewire your nervous system for readiness.
So the big takeaway here is that pressure doesn't have to shut you down. It can actually energize you if you learn to recognize, reframe, and respond with purpose.
You got it. You can learn to shine in those moments.
Okay, let's talk about something that really makes communication stick. Storytelling. Stories captivate, they educate, they move people way more than just facts alone. Facts tell, stories sell, right?
Absolutely. Stories are the soul of connection. But what happens when you're asked for one spontaneously? Tell me about a time when, and your mind just goes blank.
Yeah, or you start rambling.
The solution, again, is structure. You don't need to conjure magic from nowhere if you have a simple framework. Matt introduces a brilliant one for stories, ABT, and, but, therefore.
Okay, ABT. So and sets the scene.
Yep. What was happening, the setup. But introduces the twist, the tension, the problem, what changed.
Okay, the conflict.
Exactly. And therefore brings the resolution. What did you do? What happened as a result? What did you learn?
Got it. And, but, therefore. Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you're asked about overcoming a challenge. I was leading this team on a really tight project deadline, and everything seemed to be on track. But then a key partner unexpectedly dropped out at the last minute, throwing everything into chaos. Therefore, I had to quickly reorganize our entire strategy, rally the team, and we actually ended up finishing ahead of schedule, feeling stronger than ever, therefore.
Wow, okay. Simple structure, powerful impact. How do you whip one of those out in like 60 seconds?
First, quickly pick a specific moment, a challenge, a lesson, a result that fits the question. Second, consciously plug the key parts into that ABT structure. Keep it concise.
Don't over-explain each part.
Right. And third, always tie it back to the original question or topic. So if the question was, what makes you a good leader? Use ABT. Well, I once had a team that was feeling really burnt out. But I realized they needed more recognition and autonomy, not just more pressure, but... Therefore, I shifted my style to focus on empowering them and celebrating small wins, and their performance just soared, therefore.
That shows leadership in action, much better than just listing adjectives.
Precisely. And the best stories are often those small, personal, authentic moments. Don't feel like you need some grand epic. And try to use a little sensory language. What you saw, heard, felt, it makes it more vivid.
And emotions matter too, right?
Hugely. Stories that connect emotionally are the ones people remember. Frustration, hope, relief, joy. Share those feelings authentically.
And the key is not to memorize the story word for word.
Definitely not. Internalize the structure, the ABT and the key moments, the feeling, the point. Then just tell it from the heart. Stay present. Be real.
So how do you practice this?
Just grab some common prompts. Tell me about a time you failed. Describe a success. Talk about a difficult decision. And practice telling a quick ABT story for each. They become tools ready in your pocket.
Okay, we've talked anxiety, structure, listening, pressure, stories. Let's pull it together with confidence and credibility. Because you can have the best message, but if people don't trust you or connect with you,
It falls flat. Exactly. Abrahams has this great confidence credibility equation. Credibility equals competence plus warmth. You need both. People need to see you're capable and that you're relatable, likable.
and a huge part of that is nonverbal, isn't it?
Yep.
Body language.
Oh, massive. Stand or sit tall. Use open gestures. Show your palms. It signals openness. Make genuine eye contact. Use those confident pauses we talked about and offer a real smile. These little things speak volumes, especially when you don't have time to build rapport slowly.
And what about the words themselves? We sometimes use weak language when we're unsure.
Yeah, those credibility killers, as Matt calls them. I'm not sure. Kind of like, maybe. They just undermine you, especially when you're put on the spot. It's often better to pause confidently than to fill the space with weak words.
So swap them out for stronger phrases.
Exactly. What we know is, here's what I recommend. The data shows, speak with clarity and conviction, even if you have to take a beat to find it.
And our voice matters too. Pace, pitch, power.
Definitely. Try speaking just a touch slower than your normal conversational pace. It often sounds more deliberate and confident. Vary your tone to keep people engaged. And project your voice from your diaphragm for more power and resonance. It's worth recording yourself to hear how you actually sound.
Good tip. And blend logic and emotion, the
Yes.
confidence and warmth again.
Yes. Anchor your points with facts or data, competence, but bring them to life with stories, anecdotes, or analogies, warmth. The data shows a 30% increase. And let me tell you how exciting that felt for the team when they saw those results. Connect the head and the heart.
And that core mindset shift, reframing nervousness as excitement, that helps with credibility too.
Absolutely. When you tell yourself you're excited, you lean in, you seem more engaged, more ready, more confident, it changes how you carry yourself.
And start strong, end strong. People remember the beginning and the end most.
Right. Even in a spontaneous answer, try to open with certainty and close with conviction. Don't just trail off. And with a clear takeaway like, so what this really means for us is...
And the best way to build this real confidence.
Practice under pressure. Simulate it. Time yourself. Get friends to ask you tough questions randomly. Record yourself without notes. Confidence grows when you step into the challenge, not when you avoid it. It's about being present, prepared in your mindset and tools, and fundamentally human.
Wow. Okay, so we've really covered a ton today. It feels like we've gone from that initial fear of freezing up to having a whole toolkit for spontaneous communication. It's definitely more of a lifelong practice than a quick fix.
Absolutely. And Matt Abrahams really brings it together with what he calls the 3 pillars of mastery: mindset, message, and mechanics.
Okay, recap those for us. Mindset.
That's about staying open, calm, curious, accepting imperfection, reframing that anxiety into useful energy, being present, and approaching things with curiosity, not criticism, especially self-criticism.
Got it. Pillar 2. Message.
That's using those flexible frameworks to structure your thoughts. What, so what, now what, problem, solution, benefit, past, present, future. Remembering spontaneous doesn't have to mean chaotic. Structure is strength.
And 3rd, mechanics.
This is the delivery, how you actually bring the message to life with precision and presence. Breathing deeply, using your hands naturally, pausing for impact, making eye contact, controlling your pace, and cutting out those filler words. Silence is usually better than,
So how do you make this stick? How do you make it a real practice?
You have to build it into your life. Practice short, like 60-second, speeches on random topics. Answer mock interview questions out loud. Role play tricky conversations. Maybe even join an improv group or Toastmasters. Every little interaction becomes practice. As Matt says, every moment is a rehearsal for the next.
I love that. And consistency is key, right? It's not about one big performance.
Exactly. Improvement comes from repetition, from trying these things out again and again. Remember that quote. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on your preparation. Your preparation is strengthening your mindset, honing your message structures, and refining your mechanics.
So the empowering message here is that anyone listening, can learn to think faster and talk smarter with these tools and just the willingness to practice and grow.
Totally. So when that unexpected moment hits, you'll feel ready because you've trained your mind, your body, your voice to be calm, clear, and connected.
Okay, so quick recap. We went from tackling that fear of spontaneous speaking to using frameworks for structure, listening deeply, handling pressure, building confidence, and telling stories on the fly. Now, here's a little challenge, a provocative thought for you listening.
Ooh, okay.
In the next 24 hours, find just one small unscripted moment. Could be a casual chat with a colleague, an unexpected question from family, a quick comment in a meeting, just one moment.
And in that moment,
Intentionally try just one technique we talked about today. Maybe it's just taking that confident pause before you answer. Maybe it's mentally reframing, I'm nervous, to I'm excited. Or maybe you quickly structure your thought using what, so what, now what.
just one thing. And then notice what happens. Notice the shift. Maybe in your own feeling of confidence, but also notice how the other person engages. Does it feel different?
Exactly. It's those small, intentional steps repeated over time that truly transform how you communicate. That's all for this deep dive. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you for the next one.